No good deed goes unpunished. Vlad TV is currently in the middle of some major controversy for trying to do the right thing from his perspective. Others don't see it as that, but Vlad believes that he was trying to do the right thing. And because he was trying to do the right thing and make amends, he's currently in the middle of some major backlash. So Vlad TV was recently on his good friend Willie D's podcast. On that podcast, he discussed the Farrakhan beef and the situation that took place 5 years ago where he misquoted Minister Farrakhan.
When you refused to apologize to Farrakhan, I took offense to that. And I told you that, right?
Yeah.
On more than one occasion.
Yeah, no, we had multiple conversations on the phone about it.
Right,
yeah.
right. And, you made a statement that read, at the time, you said, on Friday, Vlad TV posted an interview with D.L. Hughley where I referenced part of Farrakhan's speech about Jews. After our interview was released, I was made aware that there was a later part in Farrakhan's speech where he clarified those points. Based on that info, we removed that part of our interview, changed the title, and removed the social media post. Although I don't agree with some of Farrakhan's statements, Vlad TV has always reported on people accurately and will continue to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So where you stand today?
I've changed my stance about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did you do that?
Well, at the time, I had some people around me who I thought had my best intentions.
I actually spoke to Vlad TV about this. The only time me and Vlad TV ever hopped on the phone and had a conversation, we actually spoke about this. From our conversation, I could tell Vlad TV's stance was softening up a little bit, but I could also tell Vlad TV didn't intentionally lie on Farrakhan. Now, misrepresenting something and going out of your way to lie about something, it's a little different. Meaning, if Vlad TV heard the full clip and knew the truth and lied anyways, I look at that as much worse than what exactly happened, which was Vlad TV was given an out of context quote. And the quote was, well, the real quote was, pick up the stone of truth and throw it at Vlad's people, if you get my drift. Now, Vlad was given a quote that read as if Farrakhan said, pick up stones and stone Vlad's people to death. Vlad TV took that personally. So Vlad TV reported that Farrakhan said, throw stones at people who look like Vlad and stone them to death, when that was not the case. It was actually the stone of truth, and it was a metaphor. So when Vlad TV reported that, it was backlash, and he was forced to come and issue a retraction. But the reason why Vlad didn't go out of his way to fully just apologize and was because of he felt like his people were under attack. He felt like people were trying to force him into a corner. Lord Jamar, Godfrey, he felt like people were trying to bully him into sort of submitting to Minister Farrakhan. And at the time, he truly felt like Minister Farrakhan was dangerous to his people. So that's why Vlad TV at the time refused to apologize, because he felt like, as you just heard, people around him, other people who looked like him, was telling him, bro, we can't submit, bro. We got to speak up for ourselves because these narratives are very dangerous to us. And Vlad TV is saying, yo, I drank the sauce, but now I'm awake and now I'm realizing they ain't mean me no good. Now, even though Vlad TV didn't apologize at that particular time, Vlad TV chose this platform with Willie D to issue his official apology to Farrakhan.
But ultimately, I've never heard of the Jewish community being hurt by Farrakhan's words. So to sit there and say, I despise this person and everything he does is out the window, when you look at what he's actually done for his own community, you can't deny it. And that was the reason why I was interviewing NOI people. This is the reason why I had a relationship with certain people at NOI. I hired them for security and so forth. It was a respectful relationship until this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, having the capacity to apologize is not a weakness, it's an attribute.
Yeah. And let me be clear, I would like to apologize to Minister Farrakhan for misquoting him back in 2020. Period.
There you go.
No ifs, but, or anything else like that. Point blank, period. This is what I'm doing on your show.
Now that's honorable.
Thank you.
That's honorable.
And also, let me just say, this was not a decision based on pressure by anybody, by financial duress. It's not like I have to do this in order to turn the company around. The company's been doing fine all these years. It's not because I'm trying to get to a certain guest and by doing this and so forth. No, there's no reason behind this except for it's the right thing to do. And I'm fully aware that a lot of people are going to hear this and say, your apology, it's too late. We're not going to accept it.
Vlad, how did you know? How did you know? You have a crystal ball somewhere, Brett, because that's exactly what happened. Now, I'm under the assumption that the apology only matters to the offended party, which is Farrakhan. Farrakhan is who the apology was intended for. So if Farrakhan accepts it, to me, that's all that matters. Now, Farrakhan preached forgiveness. He preached turning over a new leaf. He preached listening to your enemy, and if they sound sincere, accept it. So I think Farrakhan would probably accept the apology. So if Farrakhan would probably accept it, then I don't think the opinion of anybody else matters. But Rizza Islam, a very important figure in the Nation of Islam, he responded back to Vlad TV, and he's not accepting Vlad TV's apology. All right, and he actually has some pretty unreasonable demands for Vlad TV in order to make things 100% right. And here's what Rizza Islam had to say about Vlad TV. He made a post on Instagram, and in this post, he says, should Vlad be forgiven for lying on Minister Farrakhan? My answer, if it's sincere, let him show it in his actions. He needs to go on an apology tour the same way his people do ours when we offend them. Words mean nothing. Let's see it in your actions. But to me, the apology tour would be just words, right? Like if you go on an apology tour, all you're offering up in the multiple platforms you're on is an apology. So if words mean nothing, then the apology tour would mean nothing from my perspective. And he goes on, also that Sambo slash sellout, DL Hughley, I believe, whom you were interviewing when you intentionally misquoted Minister Farrakhan and he became your choir boy, needs to apologize as well. Listen, if you don't believe him, listen. And if you see a change, then you embrace him. That's a quote from Minister Farrakhan. So although Vlad has verbally given an apology, the evidence of that apology through his actions have yet to be seen. His words were given, now the actions have to match up with those words. Now, Rizza Islam will say, even this is where like it gets trippy, and I'm like, bro, like what's going on here, right? Because like, what's the point of everything you just typed? But shout out to Rizza, man, like he's a good dude, bro. I love Rizza. So he says there is no forgiveness for him from me. So he's saying, hey, Vlad, go on those other platforms so the public can probably forgive you, bro. So you can probably get some forgiveness from other people. But just so you know, you would never get a forgiveness from me, right? Not happening. It don't matter what you do. The only reasonable argument I can see for people demanding Vlad TV go on other platforms to apologize to Minister Farrakhan as well is probably the size of the platform and the weight of what's said on the platform. Like Willie D has a reasonably sized platform, but he's no Breakfast Club. He's no Drinks Champ. No, he's not even a top 10 biggest platform Vlad TV has been on. So I believe that, if Vlad TV probably want to make it right, go to the Breakfast Club and issue the apology. Go to Drinks Champs and issue the apology. But I don't think it's needed. I think it would be nice. But I do think an apology is an apology. And if Minister Farrakhan accepts it, then who is we to condemn it? But I do believe, though, it would be nice if Vlad TV goes on the Breakfast Club and these other platforms with a much larger audience and a much larger reach and issue the apology, opposed to doing it on Willie D, who really don't got that big of a reach, if we're being honest here. Now, another person who had an issue with Vlad TV apology is Lord Jamar. Now, I do believe Lord Jamar did nitpick this and is being super petty with his reaction to Vlad TV's apology. But here's what Lord Jamar had to say.
So finally, 21 minutes, 41 seconds. And it don't come natural because Willie D coaxes the apology out of Vlad. Almost 22 minutes in, Willie D says, having the capacity to apologize is not a weakness, it's an attribute. Willie D said, having the capacity to apologize is not a weakness, it's an attribute. Right then, laying out the carpet to make Vlad feel man enough in that moment to say what he really need to say. Thank you, Mr. J. It needs to be put in context. So,
Lord Jamar was one of the few Vlad TV recurring guests who told Vlad TV he's boycotting the platform and he's done commenting on Vlad TV if Vlad TV don't apologize to Mr. Farrakhan. So that ended their relationship with Vlad TV and Lord Jamar and Godfrey and others, because then they went ahead and released text messages between them and Vlad, talking about private conversations, and Vlad just felt like that was corny. So am I surprised that Lord Jamar ain't trying to let Vlad off the hook? Yeah, maybe, right? Because after like Lord Jamar left Vlad TV, bro, Lord Jamar was on his YouTube channel, bro, talking like, yo, bro, Vlad got the sauce from us. This is, yo, all that is our sauce. We can just leave his platform, come on our platform, and it's going to be just as lit as Vlad TV. 4 years later, it ain't just as lit as Vlad TV, bro. But I think Lord Jamar has a meaningful platform, has a platform that contributes to the culture. But yeah, maybe Lord Jamar is a little salty, right? That, you know, when he left Vlad TV, he issued a culture-wide ban and boycott on Vlad TV. He told any black artists, any black content creators, any black media figures that if they go on Vlad TV, they will have to meet his wrath. Man, the injuries, man, bro, these rappers said, please. And they ain't stopped going on Vlad TV. Like they kept going. So yeah, he probably still salty about that, bro. But like counting down to the seconds for how long it took somebody to apologize on a podcast is kind of, to me, that's wild, bro. If the man apologized, he apologized, bro. Like I don't think like him apologizing in the first 2 minutes, it's even more effective than him apologizing at the 21-minute mark, from my perspective, okay? Now, outside of the Farrakhan stuff, Vlad TV also got a lot of backlash for his comments on Leo Cohen and culture vultures on the Willie D podcast.
But I never cancel. I don't cancel subscriptions, man. I just
Thank you.
But yeah, I asked that question because I've seen that in the comments a lot.
Yeah, all the
You know,
time.
people-
I get called a culture vulture 1,000 times a day.
Yeah. What's the difference between you and somebody who you think or you consider a real culture vulture?
I think that's a real term. Because when you look at other prominent people who are called culture vultures, they really have an immense level of contribution. Leo Cohen, you can't downplay what he's done in hip hop. In fact, right now, and I interviewed him about this, I asked him the same question. I essentially asked him if he was the most powerful person on earth when it comes to music, because he's the head of YouTube Music
Music, yeah.
Global, not just America. YouTube Music Global, he's the head of. You know, me and him just texted the other day. I mean, I respect what he did. Vlad TV used to be located in SRC Records, which is headed by Steve Rifkin, another person who's constantly being called a culture vulture. This is the guy that introduced the world to Wu-Tang, Big Pun, Exhibit, 3-6 Mafia, Akon, Melanie Fiona, Asher Roth.
But he got paid to do that, though. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could easily argue that, he wouldn't have done it. He didn't do it out the goodness of his heart. He did it because he was getting paid, you know?
What other music executive hasn't gotten paid?
This
was his job.
But we're talking about people that have been...
Lil J got paid.
But we're talking about people that's being accused of being a culture vulture, though.
Well, of course you're going to get paid for putting out products that millions of people are enamored by. But you also got to see, like, people like to say he got paid off all these artists and, he took advantage of them and put them in bad deals and he made most of the money, blah, 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 blah. Most of these people on this that were on Loud Records or SRC Records all became rich, number one. And you also have to understand, and you don't really get to see this as an outsider, but when it comes to the music industry in general, not just SRC Records or not just Def Jam, any label, and I would say that Rap-A-Lot probably falls in the same category. Yes, you have your superstar artists that break out, but for every one of those, there's 9 artists that the label invests hundreds of thousands of dollars into that end up losing 100% of their money.
Him signing artists in a 360 deal in a for-profit organization isn't him looking out. I feel like a culture vulture is somebody who has taken more than they have given to the culture, or somebody who has caused more harm in the culture than they have given. I think Vlad TV, to be honest, have contributed more to the culture in terms of the stories, um, in terms of people that he put on, in terms of stars that he created, in terms of him going on other people's platforms when he don't have to. So I do believe that Vlad TV, from my perspective, wouldn't be a culture vulture. But hey, I'm not willing to die on that hill, bro. If y'all think Vlad's, if y'all think Vlad's a culture vulture, I'm not arguing, okay? But Leo Cohen is for sure a culture. Bro, Leo Cohen literally stated, hey, bruh, I sign certain artists who I know is destructive, who I know are destroying communities, who I know is responsible for murder rates going up, but I don't care about that because they're gonna make me a lot of money. Once you say that, you're a culture vulture, bro. Because your contributions to the culture is more destructive than it is good. You are taking and lining up your pockets and you're giving nothing positive back. From my perspective, Leo Cohen is for sure a culture vulture. But yeah, a lot of people had issue with what Vlad TV said here. So, y'all let me know in the comment section. What do you guys think, man? All right, y'all think Vlad TV is on point with the Leo Cohen take or not? Let me know. And if you're still watching, click on this video here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here, man, to find out why, like, No Jumper host almost had a fight today, like live on air. Like, one host confronted a Long Beach Crip and challenged him to a fight after these words were said. Click on this video right here to find out what I'm talking about. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.